Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, King Jaquel Martin, back in the building. We lit. And I'm sitting here with Mr. Light Skin Don't Care. Let me tell you, he's LA's best trainer. You hear me? And if you need some construction work done, you know what I'm talking about? If you need somebody to build something, you see everything in my background that young man built and helped me design my place. He's the man, the myth, and he is also a veteran, the legend, Mr. Marvel Justin himself. Jay, what up? Welcome to the building, my boy.
What's going on? What's going on, man? Thank you for introducing me, and thank you for introductions are fire as fuck, bro.
Yeah, you know, type vibes. You just give credit
Really
to me. Homage. You know what I mean?
Make somebody feel special beforehand. Yeah, man. Happy to be here, dude. There's some crazy shit going on in this world, man.
Yeah. And we finna talk that talk. Yeah, I mean. So, Justin, what you got going on, bro? I know you had your movie Pure Blue. I know it's won some festivals. Talk to me a little bit about it, bro. How's it doing?
Yeah, Pure Blue was tight. There may be some stuff coming up with that later, but the feature for it, I'm gonna get cranking on that after I finish this current feature I'm on for my little condensed, marriage story type script. I'm on page 80 of that, and this is my 5th draft, so I'm rounding the corner with that.
Can I get a character? Can I sweep the floor? Can I get a character? Can I sweep the floor?
Oh, of course you're going to be in it, but this script,
one word to get credit.
No, you're going to be in it. This is the best thing I've ever written. So it's taken me a lot of time to really. This script right here is insane. It's taken me a lot of time to really construct it and get it to where I want. But out of this script, I'm illuminating as a writer. So this is the one that's doing it.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's illuminating.
Yeah, this is the one I'm confident about. Like, I know what I'm doing. I got this.
Talk that talk.
So yeah, man, we'll get it done.
Well, congratulations. I know congratulations to everybody that was on Pure Blue. There was a part of that. Congratulations to your hustle, bro, your work ethic. Either you're producing or you're directing or you're creating or you're building. And I just want to say one thing, bro, about you. You're not just being consistent in the gym. You're consistent in your real life. And I appreciate you and I respect you, bro, for that.
Yeah, man, when you have and you know this to be true, when you have responsibilities, and I ain't talking about like you bought a fancy car and you're trying to figure out how to pay for it, but when you have real responsibilities, like true responsibilities, you can either do one of two things. You can either shirk those responsibilities and be about that bullshit, and know that will come back to haunt you, or you can, sack up and be like, well, I gotta go fucking do Uber or Postmates or whatever I gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get to where you want to be. Get her done.
I got two children under the age of 18, so
yeah,
they ain't got no choice.
Yeah, I got 2 shorties. Shout out to my boys.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, man. Let's talk this talk. Yeah. So, let me tell you. So I just got done winning the Toastmaster International Speaking Competition.
Yes, congratulations.
I became the best speaker in the District of LA. Shout out to that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Toastmasters, amazing platform. Super excited to be a part of that platform. If anyone wants to become a speaker, Toastmasters is a great place for you to get the building blocks to become great and find yourself in the motivational speaking world. So big ups to Toastmasters, straight up like that. The way it works is they recorded us, and whoever had the best video for the regional round will get selected to the semifinal round, which will be me. I'll get selected, and I'm speaking that, not being cocky, but you got to manifest things. So I'm speaking that into that I'm going to win that. And then when I win that, they're going to fly me out to Philly. I'll go out to Philly, and then I'll speak in Philly. I'll do the same speech, which I did the first time, which was unbreakable. One moment to define your life. You do. And then I have to write a brand new speech, which I'm going to start crafting on right now, you know what I mean, about for the World Championship. So I'm excited about that. I got a new film that I'm going to direct called Forced Entry. Shout out to Kato. Shout out to China. You know what I mean? I'm super excited to direct this film. It's super excited to what y'all created. It's more like a Set It Off meets John Q type of vibe. So it's about to be amazing. Super excited at the cast. Super excited just to get back in the director's home and do what I do best. You know what I mean?
Well, you have a good friend who I hear is an absolutely fucking phenomenal assistant director.
Well, I mean, talk that talk if you're down.
he's very good.
Also, beyond that, I got a movie that's coming out called Clicker on August 15th, where I'm playing Master P's bodyguard. Y'all make sure y'all cop that. Check the boy out. I got like 3 scenes in it, but I'm grateful because it's my first feature. And you got to have baby steps to giant strides. You got to start somewhere. So big shout out to that. You know what I'm saying? And then I had the Let's Make a Deal Jones drop. You know what I'm saying? Where your boy went on 10 bands. You know what I'm saying? Just give me type vibes. You feel me? And I just paid off my car, bro. I mean, little
wins. Congratulations.
great. I'm so grateful that I got my pink slip to my car, paid that off. You know
That's a
what I'm
good
saying?
feeling.
Bro, I upgraded my car, got my little Too Fast, Too Furious on with my baby. You know what I'm saying? I got no bills. I got no more bills. So thank God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get into the show, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Enough about us. Let's get into the show. Let's see what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Today is just for the fellas. Shout out to my beautiful sister, Serena Renee, doing big things. She couldn't make it today, but I love my sis. I'm proud of my sis. You see her on the red carpet. You see her out there with the who's who big celebrities, and it's well deserved because Serena, you're amazing. We love you, and we just appreciate you. The one-stop shop, Miss Serena Renee. Big shout out to you. Let's get into it.
Roll.
Was that the knife in his back pocket? I wonder. This is crazy.
But this is they haven't given much information past this as far as I know.
Well, there's another video where they actually show him at someone else's door and he has the knife in his pocket. You know what I mean?
I didn't see that video.
Which is crazy. You know what I mean? So please don't be answering your door at 2 a.m. You ain't got no business answering your door at 2 a.m. if you don't know who's coming into your door, if it ain't a booty call that you know about. You hear me? And then make sure you check the your ring light. Get a ring light camera. Get safety. So what are your thoughts on this? Justin, talk to me nice.
Well, I know that I only know the first part. I didn't see the second part where they have enough on another video. But I know in this part, I guess he came in, he actually murdered a man and stuff like that, and did the whole bit. But which is very sad. But it is a loss of someone's life. But this is, especially if you're coming from where I'm from, this is not anything new. It's tragic that it happened.
Right.
So,
and rest in power and love to the people who lost their life. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Prayers to their family. You know what I mean?
100%.
Blessings and love your way.
Now more than ever, we live in a very, very whether it's fentanyl or different kind of drugs or, the craziness that's going on. It's imperative on every individual person. And I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know if the guy was elderly. I don't know if the guy was, had, different kind of issues where he couldn't take care of himself or what. I don't know anything about the man that he unalived. But you have to protect yourself at all times. You have to keep yourself safe. And it's imperative on each of us as individuals to be able to do that. Locking your doors, not answering your door for anybody you don't know. Like you said, the ring light, always looking behind you. When I take out my trash at 2:00 in the morning, I take my keys with me, obviously, to go downstairs. But I also put, this is just how I was raised, but I also put the actual key in between my fingers. So, just in case anybody runs up on me in the alley, they're going to get bashed with the key. But even though I'm, 210 pounds and I'm, relatively young and I can take care of myself, you never know what's going to happen. I'm in the alley taking out the trash by myself. I don't know if somebody can run up from the side or whatever is going on. So you have to be hyper vigilant, man. There's nothing saying that you're paranoid or overly cautious because you don't know what can happen out here in this world. So it's imperative that you protect yourself at all times. And that's broad daylight, nighttime, afternoon. Don't sleep out here. And that looks like a decent apartment complex. It looks like, it doesn't look like it's hood or ghetto or rundown or anything else. It doesn't really matter. Could be Beverly Hills, could be Inglewood, could be Compton. Things can happen anywhere at any time. So
I agree with that. I'm glad you brought up the part because a lot of people don't talk about this part. We always talk about the results of what happens.
Yeah.
And we never discuss the root of why someone wants to do things like this. You know what I mean? And what button or trigger was pushed and could it have been prevented? I mean, I know life can be hard. I know people can go through different situations. I know drugs could be a factor. I know bullying could be a factor. I know people that could cry out for help. And then when they finally break, we look at the break, but we never look at the root. So I'm really happy that you pointed that out. Safety is very, very important. Lock your doors.
Yep.
Change up your routes. Don't always go home the same way. because you never know who's following you, and people follow patterns. So sometimes it is very smart and very wise to switch up your pattern.
Yep.
If you go home and you turn right, maybe the next time you want to circle the block and then drive into the driveway. Switch things up so people can't get accustomed to what you do, because you never know who's watching you, how they're watching you, right?
Yeah.
And another thing, Justin, it's not off topic, but on topic. Be careful with what you put on social media.
That too. Yeah.
Be careful how you post. Be careful what you show. Be careful of the locations, because at the same time, you don't know who's watching what and how somebody else still feels about you. And then you're giving them extra information, you know what I mean? That if they did not have that, you could have been well protected. So I just wanted to put that little tidbit out there. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I do post things, but I don't post a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do post, my little one put in protected situations or whatever else like that. My guy. But you really want to be careful, and it's okay to remove things. It's okay to remove things, but do remember this: no matter what you remove, it's still there.
Yep.
I'll say that one more time. No matter what you remove, it's still out there in the Ethernet. Once you press send, you can't get it back.
Yep.
Just because you don't see it anymore doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in someone's cache.
Yep.
Well, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean someone didn't screenshot it, record it, take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? So please protect yourself at all times. Like Justin said, if you go outside your house, I'm not taking the trash out at 2 a.m. But sometimes I act like I never did it, but I don't want that to be routine. Protect yourself at all times, because life ain't sweet.
No.
Life ain't sweet. It's a beautiful thing, but life ain't sweet. And life will teach you a real quick lesson if you're not paying attention to what it's saying.
Yeah, man. Where I grew up, man, the way I grew up, you never take anything expensive out of your car and take it into your house in broad daylight where everybody can see you.
Right.
If you see people outside, you'd be like, nope, let me take this inside when nobody's watching.
And I know Ring Light just had this big report about, how they were recording and different accesses to the cameras and things like that with your information. So if you're uncomfortable with Ring Light, go with a different brand, go with something else, find something safe, do your research, do the job, because no one's going to protect you like you.
Yeah.
But you
just
have
don't answer your door. I mean, it's simple as that. You don't got to open the door. And if, like Amber was saying, well, he might have broke in, and I was like, he's not breaking into if your door is dead bolted and chained. You're not breaking in that easy.
It makes it more difficult, is what we're saying.
That's right. That's right.
But it makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
and then you have call the police during that time frame.
Exactly. So to me, I don't know the whole situation, but I think it was more of a situation where somebody probably answered the door.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I grew up different. I don't answer the door for nobody.
That's all there you covered.
Yeah.
Let's get into this next one.
You mean to tell me that I can't get my name off the birth
certificate? That's your baby. I mean to tell you, once you sign a birth certificate and you sign an acknowledgement of paternity, and this is a word for you and all the other men out here that want to be supportive, you may be setting yourself up to be obligated to be supportive financially for the next 18 years. That's how it works.
This system, go ahead, Justin. I'll go. Because, I'm ready to cook.
Yeah, I know it. I'm not going to talk too long on this, but from personal experience, I will leave the details of personal experience out of it. But just be careful out there. A lot of states that I lived in, and people that I know, they signed that birth certificate, found out later, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, 7 years later, for whatever reason, child wasn't theirs. I know some people who have been through this, and they said, hey, you know what? I'm out. And the court system was like, no, you are not. You had already established, you technically have already established, signing the birth certificate, that you are, in fact, the parent, even if biologically you're not, and you have been supporting this child for 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years. We're not just going to all of a sudden let you stop supporting the child when you've been supporting the child for 13 years straight. The courts, it just ain't going to happen in most states. You're stuck, bro. You got to do it. You're the father whether you want to be or not. So I guess that's the theme of the day too. It's protect yourself. If you don't feel completely confident about that situation, you are well within your rights, because until it's confirmed, leave my details out of it, but until paternity is confirmed, child support, another person cannot put you on child support. They cannot confirm child support until paternity is confirmed. So all you do is, oh, I have to pay child support, and that baby's not even. No. Paternity has to be established before you have to pay. So if you say, hey, I want paternity established, and that other person says, I'm not going through the child support situation, then you're well within your rights to, if that's your choice, to walk away from the situation. You will never have to pay child support if paternity is not established. They do not do that. So if you get talked into it, or you have the bleeding heart where you say, hey, I'm not sure, or maybe I am, or whatever, I'll go ahead and she wrote me into it, whatever, I'm going to go ahead and sign this document, then that was you not protecting yourself. So I really can't feel any kind of way about that situation if somebody is boohoo crying because you find out 9 years later that, they're not the biological father, but they still got to pay. That's on you, buddy.
Listen, I think it is complete, total garbage. If we evolve as people and things change and things evolve, I believe laws should change and laws should evolve.
Yeah.
If it's not yours, you shouldn't be accountable for something that's not yours. And you shouldn't be forced to be accountable for something that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be invasive because I understand a woman's body, a woman's choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tackle that. So if a man doesn't want to keep it and a woman does have the baby, it's still on the father. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But we talk about equal rights, and people
Mm-hmm.
fight for equal rights. So where is the equality in the delivery room if I say I don't want the child? Where's the equality then? Because you argue for equality, but is there equality when it comes to that? Do you
Mm-hmm.
still want the same type of equality in the birth delivery when you're delivering the baby, when the baby's being born? You still want the same type of equality?
Mm-hmm.
Because shouldn't a man have say so if he wants to have the kid or not? That's one.
Yeah.
Two, we're talking about equality. If I do believe it's mine, right, and it's not mine, you now have the power to take the child away from me, even if I wanted to be in the child's life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have the power to take the child away. Now, biologically, it's not mine,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm just stuck with being heartbroken, you know what I mean? Because you no longer want to give me access.
Mm-hmm.
3, it's wrong to force me when I find out that it's not mine and I don't want to have anything else to do with it. But now you want to force me into being a parent when you're outside cheating.
Yeah.
Where is the consequence or the responsibility of who you slept with or who you decided to lay down with?
Yeah.
It's not woman bashing, so please don't get it wrong, because I believe if it is a man should be forced to take care of his child. A man should pay support. Not only support, a man should be there. But however, the mothers have to allow the man to be able to be in the kid's life, because you got a lot of good dudes out there that do want to be in their children's life. And sometimes, not all women do weaponize their kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 9 times out of 10.
It just is what it is. He's more than a paycheck.
Yeah.
So you don't want me to be there, but yet you want the bread. You don't want to give me time, but yet you want the bread. You don't want to compromise, yet you want the bread. But there's no compromise when it comes to getting the bread. I believe that we have to do better as a society, because it's the brokenness continues to create brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
We continue to birth brokenness into this world because we act broken when it comes to the family dynamic or when it comes to kids, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is how I feel. I believe the order is God, man, woman, child. Well, okay, God is God. But men, you might not like what I'm finna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I don't care. When you remove yourself out of the picture and you're not being a man and you don't wear your crown straight and you don't do your part and you leave and you dip, you ruin the order. And when you ruin the order, it forces women to have to be masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're upset at why she's so masculine, but she's masculine because you weren't there. You weren't there to do your duties or your job where she could stay in her femininity.
Yeah.
Then ask for women to be submissive, but submissive is a gift. And did you even show her what being submissive looks like so that way she can understand it to want to give to you? Or are you just in a position of demanding? Right? So then if the man and woman aren't there, then that means children are growing up in broken homes and they go into the world unbalanced. They go into the world with just feminine energy because the masculine energy isn't there and they're being robbed of that. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the result. And then we continue this cycle of brokenness. 2, on the reverse hand, women, when men want to be there, when men do want to show up, when men do want to do their part, but you want to do you, you got to stop weaponizing the children and punishing that child, because whether you believe it or not, you're not only hurting the man, you're hurting your child too, because they're watching and recording the process. And what you upload into their computer system, don't get mad when they turn 18 and then they're repeating the same thing that you uploaded into them, because they saw it for 18 years. And then we wonder why we don't know how to talk to each other, because when we grew up, we saw dysfunction. Why is it that you want me to grow up in a toxic household, in a dysfunction household, but then when I'm out and I'm starting my own household, I'm not going to rinse, wash, and repeat the same cycle?
Yeah.
So 1, I think we need to learn how to love ourselves better, first and foremost. 2, I think we need to have more respect to learn how to love each other so our children can grow up in healthier environments which will create change. But to stick with the topic, I don't think that if it's not mine, it's not mine. And you shouldn't try to force me to do something that's not mine.
I fully agree with you on that. I'm 100% on board. If biologically the child is not yours, and this is, I have to say this in 2
parts. It's like an 18-year jail sentence for a crime you didn't commit.
That's right. You find out, let's just, not saying that it's a guy who knows that the child's not his, but he has a bleeding heart and he wants to take care of it anyway. We're not saying that. Let's go on the premise that he thinks the child is his and finds out later that the child is not, right? Let's go on that premise. So I don't think it's right to, and I do not agree with, hey, the child's 5 years old. I found out it's not biologically mine. I want to skedaddle. I do not want to pay this money, and the court system says you have to. I don't agree with that at all, because
crazy word. Where's the equality in that, Justin?
There's not, because the woman at that point, whether she knew beforehand or found out when he did, she knows in that moment, yes, the baby is biologically not yours, and the onus is on her to, go
figure it out.
Right. So I don't agree with that, but I'll just say this point. 2, back to my original point, right? If it's extremely brackish water to, like, let's say this girl is driving Uber, Postmates, going to school, whatever, right? Let's just go with the premise that this guy is a retired veteran, working on the military base, making $120,000 a year, right? So he's bringing her lifestyle up, right? Bring the kids' lifestyle up. They live in a 4-bedroom house in Palmdale, Lancaster, whatever, right? Okay. So 6 years into it, baby's not his. He's like, your baby, y'all got to go. She's like, well, what am I going to do? You make all the money. I stay at home and take care of the kid. What am I going to do? So you have to understand where the court system is coming from. It's just like a lot of states that have spousal support and different things like that for a certain number of years. It's one of those situations where it's like, why do I have to pay child support? Why do I have to pay spousal support? Because
it shouldn't be 18 years. You should have a year of support to get.
That's right. There should be just like spousal support. You don't pay it for 18 years. You pay it for a specific amount of time.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. 1 year of support for you to get yourself together.
That's right.
Keep it moving.
That's right. That, to me, that alleviates a lot, because like the court system says, hey, you have 365 days to pay child support, and then the mother of the child will be the custodial parent. You have to go figure out your situation within that time frame. So we can justify him still taking care of you.
You wasn't worried about that when you was laying down with somebody else.
100%. So we can justify you still taking care of the child until she can get back on her feet, and we can justify,
Yep.
we can do it both ways. But forcing somebody into having to pay for 18 years when they found out year 2 that wasn't his child, that's fucking sucks.
And the government gets paid off of all of that.
All of it, yeah.
All of it. What you think they doing you the favor? No, this is not for you. This is for them to get paid. They're making a bag off that you're not that you're blind to because you're so emotionally involved in the situation.
That's right.
That you don't even see that they pimping y'all.
Yeah. When it comes to these kind of situations with, kids and baby mamas and this and that, all these things, you got to strip the emotions away and just look at it for what it is.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you do not sign that birth certificate, and can't nobody force you to sign that birth certificate, if you do not establish paternity, the child support, they cannot make you pay child support. So she can run and chase you down all you want to. If you don't establish it, it can't happen. Now, there's different situations where there can be a court order for it, but unless it goes that far,
man, we're doing a test. I think every child should be tested every time they're born. I think every child should be tested. That should be part of baby delivery is a DNA test right then and there, so that way we can stop all this confusion with the mom, the child being hurt, people not knowing. Right then and there, every baby should be tested.
My ex went through some situation with somebody else, and I did my DNA test, and that
DNA test for every child in the world.
Let me tell you something. That thing came back as 99.9.9.9.9.9.
You ain't got to worry about Jerry Springer no more. If every baby's tested, every baby should be tested.
That DNA test came back and said, "This is your child."
If you can give everybody a COVID shot, you can give everybody a DNA test. Next topic.
I have this saying that I actually got from a book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, which is like, you pray to catch the bus and then you run as fast as you can. You can't pray to catch the bus and stroll down the street, right? Like you got to pray to catch the bus, run as fast as you can, because then if you miss the bus, it's not your bus. Right. But if you don't run, that could have been your bus. And if you don't pray, that could have been your bus. Right. So I try to do both, like all of my work, all of my faith, and then, rejection is God's protection. It's mine or it's not.
Bar. Talk to me next. What you think about that, Just?
Love that analogy. Love it. From a beautiful soul, somebody who's very in tune with themselves, not just, externally from a successful standpoint, but obviously you can tell that this person is at peace and understands what's really going on from an emotional perspective. But I love it. So 2 things. If you see the bus coming, if you see your opportunity, someone says, "Hey, Justin," or "Hey, King, I'm interested in you directing this movie." You can't be like lazy, like, I'll get to doing my shot list and doing all that stuff later. I'll work on that stuff later. I'll get back to it. I'm gonna go, hang out or whatever. No, that's your opportunity. You got to take that shit on, and you have to work. I think about this. It's always harder to stay wherever it is that you've achieved than it is actually getting there. So getting there is not the most difficult part. Staying there is the most difficult part, right? You go direct a $15 million movie. It's not all the stuff you did to get there. It's what are you going to do next that you've achieved that and staying at that level, right? So I love that, chase your bus down, chase your opportunity down. Because if you don't, believe me, if you're not chasing it, somebody else is running right past you to go get it. They'll get on that bus. And then the second part, rejection is God's protection. I think that people, Lord knows, I mean, good Lord, I'm a subject matter expert at rejection my entire life. I think that people look at rejection, which is kind of a loaded word. I think they look at it with a very negative connotation, extremely negative connotation. Well, being an actor, it's probably the number one most rejection heavy occupation, right? You're expected to miss out on 400 jobs before you get the one, right? That kind of stuff. So it's a constant. That's what everybody says. But here's the thing about that. It's number one, anytime there's rejection, it was still a chance to audition, right? It was still a job interview. You still got a chance to show who you are, right? So you were still in the room, first of all. And number two, it's people think to themselves, you know, they don't like me, they didn't want me, what was it about me, what da 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 da. It might have not had anything to do with that. Might not have anything to do with that. We don't know the criteria and the parameters for why they didn't choose you for this specific situation, you know? Yeah, it's like, yeah, I went out for this audition. I didn't get it. Let that stuff wash off my back and pick myself up and keep moving, because just because I didn't get whatever this thing is, I can't lay in the bed depressed and not go for the next thing or the next thing or the next thing. Because you face that rejection, you know, you're sitting on the corner crying, like you said, to put it all together, that bus might be driving down the road, and that might be your opportunity. So I know it's a loaded thing. It's really, really hard to pick ourselves up after something doesn't work out for us. And it's the easiest thing to say is just be strong and pick yourself up and, you know, keep going. But I mean, it's honestly, that's the only way to do it. We can't stop living, you know?
Yeah. I love that. The reason why I thought this was so beautiful was because you can't get blessed if you don't show up for the blessing.
Yep.
Period. And most people miss out on their blessings because they don't show up for it. Most people don't meet that. I want this. Well, whatever you want, there's a universal law that says there are requirements to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you meet the requirements of your dream? Have you been working out in the weight room of life in order to meet your requirements? Well, if you ain't met your requirements, stop complaining that door hasn't opened.
Mm-hmm.
1. 2, let's say you get lucky and you do get the door and it opens for you, but you haven't checked off the list. They say different levels, different devils. And the same thing that you could be asking for could be the same thing that's about to kill you because you're not prepared to play at the level that you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's another quote that says, be careful what you ask for because it just might happen. And when it happens, can you handle what happened? Can you handle it?
Yep.
And she also said, rejection is God's blessing. Here's a beautiful thing. We've been programmed to think rejection is a bad thing. I think rejection is a beautiful thing because every no you go through is closer to your yes. I'll say that again. Every no you go through gets you closer to your yes. That is a fact. Okay. Mm-hmm. Part 1. Have you ever asked for something and when you didn't get it, later on, you're like, oh my God, thank God I didn't get that.
Oh, yeah.
Or am I the only one that thought I wanted something, thought I needed something, and then weeks, months, years later, I was like, oh my God, thank you for not giving me that because I could have been caught up in this.
Mm-hmm.
So rejecting or not getting what you want sometimes can be the biggest blessing of protection, because sometimes guess who you need to be protected from? You.
Yeah.
You can become your biggest enemy. Your wants, your needs, your desires, all those different things, mentally, physically, spiritually, you can become your biggest INNER. Your biggest enemy is the one right between your ears. Mm-hmm. So sometimes not getting what you want is the biggest blessing because it sets you up for the right door that opens. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Let's go to this next subject.
This mother took both of her daughters to fight with her, and they both passed away because of it.
Some witnesses say the sisters, along with their mother, went into that beauty supply store to confront worker there. Now 2 people are dead. After 3 people went inside the store Wednesday, but only 1 came out. Hot Springs police confirmed 19-year-old Mernea Myers and her sister, 22-year-old Monteria Myers, and their mother went into Simply Unique Hair Beauty Supply to confront one of the workers. They got in a fight with that employee. Witnesses say the worker was badly beaten, grabbed a gun, and shot at the women. One sister died at the scene, the other died at the hospital. Their mother got in a black car and drove off. A shooter was taken in for questioning but not arrested. Now those in the area say they worry about retaliation and are keeping quiet. They say the beauty shop worker and the owner have left the city for safety.
The 2 girls were attempting to retreat, but the beauty shop worker discharged at them from the back. Police found her actions justified. What do you think about what their mother did, and who's the real victim?
Ooh, Justin, you're up.
I take this is a extremely sad story, all the way around. And I take this kind of personal because I have a close cousin of mine that's tattooed on my back who, you know, obviously not the exact same situation, but a similar kind of thing happened. And he passed away, died in front of his 4 daughters. So I think to myself,
hold on, let's take a moment. Let's just take a moment for all those who lost their lives.
Yeah.
May they rest in power and love. I didn't know about that one. Just this is the first time I'm hearing this story.
Yeah, I keep it to myself. I was 17 years old when it happened. But so I think to put it out there, I think something my dad said a long time ago. He said, you would always tell me when I was younger, if you're big enough to bring it, you better be big enough to take it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you wanna bring that smoke, you better be ready for the smoke.
Yeah.
Meaning, listen, I don't know the parameters of the situation or what was said or the fight or the intricacies of the details. I can only take it for face value of what I see in the video, right? Because I haven't fully researched the situation. Right. But I've been in enough situations in my life too. Spare the gritty details, especially when I was younger and I was wild. Some very close calls in my life where situations happened, running my mouth a little bit too much, confronting a little bit too much, thinking I was a little more than I was, and someone said, boop, I'm going to show you something real quick. You know what I mean? And I had to learn that lesson, like, oh shit, maybe I can't go take on everybody. Maybe I can't just go get in anybody's face. And it's a sad situation to me because it looked like obviously the daughters were younger and stuff like that. To me, it's a sad situation that the mother, like I said, I don't know the intricacies of the details, just what I see. The sad situation to me that the mother wouldn't, the response that she elicited is to actually bring them to the situation and be involved in the situation versus being the parental figure and saying, hey, that's not the situation. Now, I don't know if the store owner or the employee, they may have threatened them before, but they were the aggressors, right? They went to the location. But what we know in the video is it wasn't the other way around.
It could have been retaliation. You know, if somebody put their hand on your child, no, you're going to go back. We're going to go back. We don't just let nobody put their hands on you. You very come from black families. You know what I mean? We know
100%. Could very well. If something happened to me, my sister and my cousins, they're going to that bar. They're going to that store. They're going to that thing, right? 100% agree. But since I don't know that, I can't speculate on what occurred prior.
Right. No. But, I'm not asking you to. Understand.
But if it was retaliation, say that there was a situation prior, it was retaliation, the employee, store owner, whoever did something, said something, got involved with the kids, and the mother said, okay, we're going back there. You know, like our parents did back in the day. You get beat up, your dad sends you right back outside. Now you going to go fight that person again? Mm-hmm. Now it's a situation where I understand that old school level of thinking. No right. Now both your daughters are dead. You know, both people are passed away. So that old school mentality, way of thinking, did not service this situation.
I agree.
And I think that there's blamed what, and then too in the video it's saying that the mother got in the car and drove away. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know what is occurring.
I ain't driving my baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like both of your children that you driving away. I don't know what to make of that. But there needed to be a clear and present, like, even if they went to the store and they confronted this person, because it said in the video that the employee was beaten badly. That's how the video started. It didn't say the other way around. So basically, what I'm understanding, they went to the store. There was probably an altercation. They started beating up the employee. They were leaving, right? They were egressing. The employee grabs a gun, shoots, kills one, and then later the other one dies. So in that escalation, when the employee is getting beat up, and you know when it's getting rough, okay? You hit him a couple times. All right, that's it. We got to go. We've all been to the clubs. We've seen friends get into it. We've got into it, and someone pulls you back like, all right, that's it. In that moment specifically, because that's all we can articulate right now, there should have been a presence to say, all right, you've done your damage. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I mean, it's a really sad story. It's really sad. I don't know how the mother is going to live with herself after this.
She can't
find the forgiveness because she just lost both of her babies. It's super sad. I feel bad for the young lady who got stomped out that was trying to defend herself. As we know, we don't know what happened prior to this. But what I will say is both sad on both sides. And I'm sending prayers to both families and both sides and healings to both sides and both families. And I'll just leave that alone. Let's get to our last clip.
Yep.
I just want y'all to know that when you're a black man in America, right, sometimes you get reminders. You know what I mean? As a successful black man in America, I often get reminders. And in the Shador Sanders situation, this is just a reminder that you can do everything right in life. You can come from a good family. You could be a good student. You could be a God-fearing kid. You could be a hard worker. You could beat the odds. Your dad could be a Hall of Fame player and you can beat the odds because not too many Hall of Fame players have good kids. So you can beat the odds. You can beat, he ain't his daddy. You can beat all of that growing up. But you still get a reminder that you just a nigga, man. That's it. You just a nigga. We sitting here looking at a public execution going on right in front of our eyes. Where it's like, we just got to remind you that you just a nigga. There's no other way to look at it. There's a lot of black analysts on TV, but they got to keep it corporate. They can't say what it is. They got to keep it corporate. I just think this is unbelievable. No, sometimes as a black man in America, you get reminded that you just a nigga. Don't matter how much work you put in. Don't matter. None of that don't matter. You got to understand. I arrived at a hotel in Boston, right? And I get to the front desk and I say, is there any way I could get a suite? And this lady looked at me and she said, I'm sorry. She didn't press one button. She said, I'm sorry, it's no suites in the building. They're all sold out. As she's saying it, a white man is walking out the back as she's saying, he said, Gilly, oh man, I love you. Man, I love what you do for the community, man. You're a great guy. She handed me my room key. I get up to my floor. When the elevator opened, the white guy's on my floor. And he says, Gilly, I don't know why she told you there's no suites available. Every suite in the building is open, Gilly. Come back downstairs, man. We're going to put you in a suite. But it was just a reminder that you just a nigga. That lady looked at me and said, there's no suites. Before I make this hotel thousands of dollars, I would rather your black ass not be in a suite. So in life, you get reminded sometimes that you just a nigga.
Justin, thoughts?
A lot, but I'll keep it brief. I do agree with what Gilly's saying about getting reminders, right? And for the very foreseeable future, listen, for the very foreseeable future.
Matter of fact, Justin, you know what? How about we save Gilly for next Thursday and just go all Gilly next Thursday? Because this topic right here, this is one of them topics right here that we could just cook on.
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even want to cheat it.
You could do one show Gilly and then one show Charleston White. You could debate both of them situations.
Let's do that. So y'all got a sneak preview of our next show. You feel me? We're gonna start it off with Gilly and we're gonna go to Charleston White. We about to cook, we about to go to a whole nother level. It's about to be good. We don't want to even cheat y'all on time because that right there, that subject the reminders is so real and predominant in our culture that I don't want to cheat it out of its time to be discussed. So we're going to bring that back next week. This is my boy, Mr. J Marvel. Listen, I'm telling you, he's the best personal trainer in LA. Mr. Light Skin don't care. He's really that guy.
I know so much.
Look at my place. Look at my place. He did that. He did that. If you need something, he did that. He did that.
We'll get jacked.
Reach out to him. Hit him on the DM professionally. You feel me? Professionally. Hit him up saying that you need some work done, task rapid, whatever. My boys really like that. If you're really serious about getting in shape, because he helping me get right. If you're really serious about getting in shape, then holler at him. You know what I mean? Right now, he has me on a fast. I'm doing a 10-day fast where I'm just doing water, sea moss, smoothies, and like tomato basil soup. You know what I mean? That's it. And I'll probably do it for like 30 days straight. You know what I mean? You can see my face slimming down. You know what I'm saying? You can see me getting right. You can see him over there doing the Macho Man, Randy Savage poses and everything else. But my brother is really amazing in the gym. Holla at him. And if you need something built, holla at him. If you need a speaker, bro, if you need a director, actor, entertainer, holla at me. You feel me? I'm really like that. If you need another director, Justin's an amazing director. He's a fire producer. So holla at him about that. And this is our show. You can check out Jay at IG Marvel 00784. And then you can get at your boy King Jaquel Martin on IG at King Jaquel Martin. You feel me? And then check out the brand. Check out Whispering to Your Soul's Intimate Conversations. Go to Whispering to Your Soul. Check out the Intimate Conversations. We got 25 interviews that we're about to drop on all streaming platforms. It's about to be crazy. It's about to be lit. It's up. It's enough negativity in the world, and we want to start shedding light, bro. Stop allowing your light to be blocked when you're supposed to shine. This is our show, Whispering to Your Soul. You dig? Yes, sir, ski.